As many of you know, Nissan's coming out with an Xterra in 2028. I need your help. Tell me, out of these two renderings that I did, which one do you like the most? I'm gonna get out of the way real quick. All right, here's the first rendering, just like the thumbnail. I really like the big Nissan on the front grille. They'll probably go to something more like the traditional logo. I like the headlights, little circle headlights with a little LED ring around them. Pro 4X. The awesome approach and departure angle, tow hooks, kind of looks rough and rugged, almost like a Land Cruiser, but not a Land Cruiser, kind of like a cross between a Land Cruiser 4Runner and maybe the Frontier. Do you like this front end? Or I'll show you another front end here in a moment. This is not, some stock footage from Nissan. I asked ChatGPT to do a rendering for me. What do you guys think of that? I actually think this rendering looks pretty cool from the side and the back. They kind of messed up the Pro 4X, and I don't know what FFS is on the back, but I actually think a design like this would look pretty cool. Here's the front end. Kind of looks like the Frontier on the front, a little more slanted on the headlights. Similar grille to the Frontier. I don't know, I think something like this might actually work. So in this video, I wanted to talk about what would actually work for an Xterra. I think, unfortunately, they're gonna go in a direction that maybe doesn't work, but there's a chance that they might do like a hybrid, naturally aspirated version of the Xterra. So it may have a ton of torque, still be really reliable, hopefully, and it might fit the bill. I think what Nissan's been struggling with has been brand loyalty, people moving to Toyota and they're just gonna stick with Toyota regardless of what Nissan does, and a bunch of other things. They might feel a little outdated with the body on frame and maybe some of the interior stuff, but that's probably what's gonna make them last longer term. However, not many people are interested in that are buying new cars. Everybody buying new cars seems to want the fancy, newest, most powerful, torquey things, and they really don't seem to be valuing reliability as much as they are all the other tech. That's just what the sales numbers show. That's not what I'm saying. We'll also talk about the Nissan Frontier Pro 4X by Roush. This one's a little weird. I expected like a supercharger or, something with the powertrain. It's all just like suspension and seems like the seats change, some stitching in the seats, the suspension lift. There's some things that they're doing to it, but it doesn't seem related to the powertrain, which is not what you'd expect with the name. Kind of weird. Now back to the Xterra. This report from Car and Driver says Nissan Xterra will return in 2028 with a V6 and hybrid power. So, guessing that it's going to be probably pretty punchy if it is a V6, if they're doing the naturally aspirated 3.8 plus a hybrid power plant. I bet we're going to see that in the Frontier as well. There are some details. They didn't give a lot of specs on the new Xterra. They cited that people familiar with the plan said the Xterra would ride on a new body-on-frame platform. The platform is reportedly designed to support 5 models, including the updated Frontier. So they are updating the body-on-frame platform. I'm glad to see that they're not just like going unibody with everything. I know they've been struggling, so they really needed an update. Sometimes when companies do that, they threw away the Titan. I was worried that they're gonna throw away the Frontier and everything else just because sales numbers aren't great. They're not bad, but they're not great. So it would be good to see the Xterra live on a body-on-frame and be like a true off-road SUV again to compete with the 4Runner. I mean, this old Xterra from 2010 to 2015, I know they had earlier models, but really from 2010 to 2015, they were super reliable with that 4-liter. It had so much torque. You just didn't have a lot of problems with the port injection. It was so dead simple, like their mantra, everything you need, nothing you don't. I still have family members with the Xterra. We have 2 of them in the family. One of them's got over 200,000 miles. They were awesome. So if they can repeat that magic, I think it could be a hit. And back to that Roush Frontier, they say it's purpose built for the trail, which is odd. They talk about their off-road suspension system. At the heart of the Pro 4XR is the Roush Performance 2-inch suspension lift featuring 2.0 off-road shocks with remote reservoirs. This advanced system is specifically tuned for exceptional off-road control while preserving everyday comfort. So, everybody's going to these super expensive remote reservoirs. Chevy has them in the Multimatic. I mean, everybody's got their version, whether you're using Fox or Multimatic or Old Man Emu. They have some other updates on the package. Titanium painted front grille inserts. They got the skid plates, the badging for the Roush, the upgraded 17-inch wheels, and it looks like they do have some custom badging on the seat headrest there. All in all, it doesn't look too bad. I I don't know. When I saw Roush, I was just hoping for like, what are the torque numbers on that with a supercharger? And then this is what we get. It's a little weird, but whatever. They do have some crazy colors though. Check out that green. They've got the typical orange that they have now, dark gray, white. So that green was a wild color. Man, that's gonna be getting some attention. Anyway, I think that's gonna do it for this one. Just a little short video. I love Nissans, these old Nissans. They're super reliable. The old Frontiers, the old Titans, the old Xterras, man, they were great powertrains for a while. I like this rendering. I kind of like the Land Cruiser type look of it, the ground clearance, the approach and departure angle. Kind of a cool rendering. It's amazing what you can do with AI to get something close. I would probably change it a little bit in the front end, but I think it looks decent. What do you guys think? Do you want it to look more futuristic, more like all of their other things where all the front ends are closed off with little tight LEDs and everything looks like an EV anymore? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Till next time.